Hi Linda, I'm really happy we were able to schedule some time to talk about a program that I'd like to implement with Mike. I know you're very busy as a school teacher and I'd like to thank you again for taking some time out to meet with me. So as you know, I'm a behavioral therapist that has been working with Mike for the last few weeks to see why his elopement behavior has been increasing. So my role as a behavioral therapist is to work with individuals like Mike who have behaviors that may be problematic in some way and to look to see why these behaviors are occurring and what we can do to decrease these behaviors. So as we talked about in our last meeting, Mike, who's 13 years old, has been dually diagnosed, which means that he has an intellectual disability as well as a mental illness. So in Mike's case, his mental illness is in the form of autism spectrum disorder. As you stated, he has since been moved into your special education classroom due to his problem behavior of eloping. We also defined eloping in our last meeting as Mike bolting, fleeing, running, and or sprinting from his desk out of the classroom without your permission or acknowledgement during any time during class. So I know that both you and Mike's parents are extremely worried about Mike's eloping behavior because it's not always possible for you to chase after Mike and leave the class unattended. Also, the last time I was here, I completed a functional analysis on Mike to see why he engages in elopement. So this uses different techniques to understand what's behind Mike's inappropriate behavior. So we found that the function of Mike's behavior is escape from demands, so particularly academic demands. So this means that Mike typically runs away from his desk when he's asked to complete an assignment or work is placed in front of him. So we're going to be teaching Mike how to ask for a break using a break card. So since Mike is mostly nonverbal, meaning that he has trouble communicating with us in words, I think it would be best for him to learn functional communication training, also known as FCT. Which is a very effective way to decrease severe problem behavior such as Mike's elopement. So in other words, you're going to be reinforcing Mike's use of a break card instead of reinforcing his elopement behavior, which has been done by taking the demands away when he runs away. So there's also a study done by Stevenson and colleagues that looks at individuals diagnosed with autism who also engaged in elopement like Mike. So in their study, using FCT, they were able to reduce the occurrence of elopement. And if you'd like to read more about the study or if you'd like to learn more about FCT, I'd really like that and I'd like to be able to email some studies to you. So first I'm going to start out by modeling how to teach Mike to use a break card, and then I'm going to have you role play it with me. So if you have any questions while I'm demonstrating these steps, please let me know and I'm going to be happy to answer them, okay? So first what we're going to need is we're going to need a break card that looks like this, and the data collection sheet that I sent you in my last email that looks like this, and then we're going to need Mike's academic assignments. So the very first step is to have Mike sit down at a classroom table with you. There are 3 steps that we're going to be teaching Mike, so that is moving his hand towards the break card, picking up the break card, and handing the break card to you. So first you're going to place the break card and assignment in front of Mike and say, "Okay Mike, it's time to do your work now." So when Mike's precursor behavior occurs, which we have identified as rocking back and forth like this in his chair, which happens right before he elopes, you're going to be using hand-over-hand prompting to help Mike complete 3 sequences. So which are, again, moving his hand toward the break card, picking up the break card, and giving the break card to you. So after Mike completes these steps, verbal reinforcement should be given. So, "Great job, Mike. I really liked how you asked for a break. You can go ahead and take a break now." So after this, Mike will be given a 1-minute break, and you should take his assignments off his desk and out of his sight. So then you will record on the data sheet right here if Mike did it incorrectly or not. Once Mike does this 90% correctly during a consecutive 3 days without engaging in elopement, we can move on to the next step. So this is what the first step should look like. "Okay, Mike, it's time to do your work." "Great job, Mike. I really liked how you asked for a break. You can have a break now, okay?" So this next step is similar to the last step, but we're going to have Mike complete handing the break card over independently. Hand-over-hand guidance is going to be used to prompt Mike through all 2 steps except for handing the break card over to you. So if Mike does not hand over the break card to you independently within 5 seconds, you're to gesture towards your open palm without any verbal instructions, which looks like this. If he does not complete the step within another 3 seconds, hand-over-hand prompting should be used like we did in the first step, which looks like this. So once Mike can do this last step 90% of the time independently within 3 consecutive days, we can move on to the next step. So this clip is going to demonstrate what it looks like when Mike does not complete the steps independently. "Okay, Mike, it's time to do your work." "Great Great job, Mike. I really liked how you asked for a break. We're going to take this away and you can have a break now, okay? So in this third step, Mike will hand the break card over to you and pick up the break card independently. Hand-over-hand guidance should only be used to help Mike reach for the break card, and the rest of the steps should be done on his own. If Mike does not pick up the break card or hand it over to you within 5 seconds, you should gesture towards your open palm without any verbal instruction like this. If he does not complete the step within another 3 seconds, then hand-over-hand prompting will be used, which looks like this. So once Mike can do these last 2 steps independently for 90% of the time during 3 consecutive days, we can move on to the next step, and this is what this step should look like. Okay, Mike, it's time to do your work. Great job, Mike. I really liked how you asked for a break. You can have a break now, okay? So in this last step, Mike should be able to complete all 3 steps independently without prompting, which should look like this. All right, Mike, it's time to do your work now. Great job, Mike. I really like how you asked for a break all by yourself. You don't have to do this anymore, okay? You can go take a break. So now, if you have any questions about the modeling steps, please don't hesitate to let me know through email or through a call. But now I'd actually like to role play these steps with you. So if you have any questions while we're role playing with each other, please let me know and then we can work through them together.